the shores of Lake Erie, where the Oilers have won 4 straight, beat the Cleveland Browns. And it is a time of high emotion in Cleveland, Ohio. You know the story of quarterback Bernie Kosar, a favorite son who was cut 2 weeks ago. Kosar's now a Dallas Cowboy. But the backlash against the Browns and Coach Bill Belichick has been enormous and ongoing. 150 extra security guards are here. Tens of thousands of Brown fans are waving Bernie Kosar masks. Belichick says he cut him because he thought it would make his a better team. Good afternoon, everyone. Don Crickey with Beasley Reese. It was a season of promise for the Cleveland Browns, a 5-2 start. It could be a season of promise again if they win today. They could have a share of first place depending on what the Steelers do at Denver. The key guy, according to the Houston Oilers coaches on Cleveland, is number 21, Eric Metcalf. They feel they have to stop him to beat the Browns.
He's the guy they have to stop first. Now, this guy has the talent to take a game, put it on his shoulder, and totally turn it around. He did it against Pittsburgh with 2 punt returns for a touchdown. Metcalf, they must control first.
The Oilers got off to a 1-4 start, but right now they might be the best team in the American Conference. They're going for 5 straight wins for the first time in 13 years. Warren Moon has been brilliant over the 4-game win streak, and he cites his offensive line as the key to the overall success.
Well, the offensive line has been playing great. They are led by Mike Munchak and by Bruce Matthews. There's Matthews, number 74. He may be the best offensive lineman in all of football, and Mike Munchak, that is the leader. And Warren Moon has been splendid. His completion average has soared, and he has cut down on the interceptions, and that's the reason that the offense has been working on all cylinders.
The Cleveland Browns have won the toss, and they will receive to start the last 4 games between these two teams. Very close. The last time they played was December 20th of '92, and the Oilers came from behind with 2 touchdowns in the final 3 minutes to win the game 17-14. A lot of wind blowing coming off the lake. Randy Baldwin back deep, number 23, along with Tommy Vardell. Baldwin is the deep man, though, and the kickoff hit downfield. Baldwin will field the ball in his end zone and wisely elects not to bring it out. And so the Cleveland Browns with Todd Philcox, number 17 at quarterback, will go first down and 10 from their 20. Tony Jones having a very strong year at left tackle. Steve Everett, a rookie from Michigan, their top draft pick, has played tremendously for a first-year player. The Browns have had a problem with sacks, though. They've given up 35 so far this season, tied for the most in the league with Cincinnati. The Browns will have backs and receivers led by Eric Metcalf. Rico Smith comes in as an extra. Michael Jackson's the best deep threat, averaging almost 20 yards a catch. The Browns come out with a stacked deck on the right side. Now they send Mark Carrier in motion and go right to the run. And big fullback Tommy Vardell takes it ahead to maybe the 22 or 3-yard line. Wilbur Marshall making his first start for the Oilers since October 10th. In at outside linebacker. Belichick, the Cleveland coach, says the best player on the Houston defense is William Fuller, number 95. Off the films they've watched, Dishman is the best cover corner. Jackson's a player that they'll look to go deep on. The safeties, McDowell and Robertson, very good. The Oilers coming in highly rated both on offense and on defense. There is Wilbur Marshall, who played on 2 Super Bowl winners. One with the Bears, one with the Redskins. Marty says he shows up in places he's not supposed to be. Very tough to contain for deep offensive blockers. Long ball downfield early, and Jackson had a step on the defender. They went right after Jackson early. We were looking for it, and they went to it. The ball is just overthrown, but Philcox showing a very strong arm, Brizzy.
Don, it was strong, but it was too strong. The receiver, Jackson, is wide open. I mean, the middle of the field has been vacated because of the man-for-man coverage. All he has to do is lead it high and softly to the inside, and it's a touchdown. And that would have quieted a lot of people who are concerned about the big change at quarterback. What an opportunity they just blew.
We could see that again, though. They think Jackson's a man who can be beaten deep. Now, Philcox has to throw again. Philcox is big. We saw he has a strong arm. He's 6'4", 225, a free agent out of Syracuse. Penalty markers go down as the big rush comes. Sean Jones, who's having a terrific year at right defensive end, number 96, said yesterday, if you can't handle pressure, you can't beat the Oilers. A quarterback that can handle pressure.
False start, 88 offense prior to the
pick up the blitz.
5 yards.
Can have success against us, but the pressure's going to be on all day. As Belichick says of the Buddy Ryan defense, sooner or later you see everybody in that defense come at you on some kind of a pass rush.
Well, the thing to watch about the Houston Oilers defense is the fact that they do not substitute. The people you see on the field, those are the people that Buddy Ryan will go with. He does not believe in nickel. He'll challenge you putting linebackers on wide receivers. He's got a linebacker, 57, Lathan, on the slot back now.
After the penalty against the Browns, it's now 3rd down and almost 13. Phil cuts with a deep drop. Fires the ball over the middle. It's up. Almost intercepted as the Oilers converge on it. Rich Dishman tipped the ball. So the Browns fail to get a first down on their first possession. They'll punt from deep in their own end, but they will punt with a gusting wind at their backs. Willie Drury will be the deep kick returner for the Houston Oilers. And there is the punter for the Cleveland Browns, Brian Hansen, having a good year, as you see. Second in the AFC behind Montgomery of the Oilers. Averaging almost 46 yards a punt is Brian Hansen. Oilers are strong in every area. Offense, defense, special teams, kicking game. Hansen strides into the ball, hits it downfield. Drury backpedaling to his 40. Head down. And Willie Drury making a gutsy return. He had nowhere to go but straight at all those pursuers, and he did get 6 yards after a 42-yard punt. So the Oilers will start an offense with good field positions. They'll be starting from about their 46-yard line. Warren Moon comes in with 15 touchdown throws and 14 interceptions, but over the last 4 games he's been great, over 70% completions. The offensive line, loaded with blue chippers, has been protecting him well. Hopkins is a guy they're a little bit concerned about, only because he's a rookie and he's playing against one of the best much of the day, outside linebacker Clay Matthews. Gary Brown is in for Lorenzo White at running back again. Brown coming off that 166-yard game against the Bengals a week ago. He had 1 yard more rushing than the whole Bengal offense had. Brown turns it up, turns it out. And he's across midfield on a first down carry, good for a gain of almost 5 yards. Cleveland's strength is its defensive front. The front 4, Rob Burnett, Jerry Ball, Michael Dean Perry. And they'll use Clay Matthews and Mike Johnson as the starting linebackers as they go to a dime set with 6 defensive backs to try to counter the run and shoot attack of the Houston Oilers. Del Spear, a rookie's in there. They've had some injury problems. And they're starting a newly acquired player, Eric McMillan, also. Browns feel the key to stopping these run and shoot receivers to be very physical with them. 2nd down and 6 comes up now as Warren Moon takes a look. Here comes the rush, and Warren Moon has to eat the ball, and finally he releases it. No penalty marker. Webb Slaughter was his intended receiver, the leading receiver in the American Conference, who was a Cleveland Brown just a year ago.
Great pressure that time by Rob Burnett, number 90. He'll come from the top of your screen. Now, Moon has plenty of time. He elects not to go with Slaughter. Webster Slaughter was wide open. Burnett keeps working, gets a grab on him, and Moon wisely just gets the ball onto the ground. Great pressure by Burnett.
Rob Burnett, 3rd-year pass rusher from Syracuse. Now the Oilers set with a 3rd down and 6 coming up from midfield. Warren Moon takes a drop, takes a look. Here's the rush again. Downfield throw, and it's broken up beautifully. Eric Turner, the free safety, number 29, coming across to tip the ball away. And so quickly the Oiler offense, which has been rolling of late, is 3 downs and out on its first possession. And Eric Metcalf, who personally beat the Pittsburgh Steelers on this field October 24th, the leading punt returner in the NFL, 16 yards a return. He's back to wait Greg Montgomery's punt. Montgomery's been troubled by back trouble. Nobody kicks it like Montgomery, though, when he's feeling well, and he booms one here into the wind and still hits it deep. Metcalf takes a shot at the 13-yard line.
Oh, I heard that all the way up here. That was a tremendous pounding that the young man took by Bowden.
Anti-lock brake is like this little computer, keeps your brakes from locking up.
And it helps you to maintain control.
All-wheel drive is if the back wheels are spinning, then the torque or the power goes to the front wheels.
To give you more traction on taking off.
The airbag upon impact pops out like a balloon.
Bang!
Poof, poof, and poof.
All these safety features come standard on every Chevy Astro all-wheel drive van for all the best reasons.
What's he doing? Better humor him.
Okay,
I'm here to show you the new Panasonic Palm Quarter camcorder with digital image stabilizer.
I think I'm gonna be sick.
It helps hold the picture steady even when your hand shakes this much. And Palm Quarter tapes can play in any VHS recorder. So why buy a camcorder whose tapes can't play in your VCR?
I don't know.
The choice is obvious. The Panasonic Palm Quarter. Its tapes will play in your VCR.
You want to know the secret to choosing a motor oil? You wait till the sun goes down. You take a ride to your local garage and then get a real close look at what the mechanic puts into his own car. Fact is, more top mechanics in America choose Valvoline over any other brand. Valvoline can help keep cars on the road for 100, 200, 300,000 miles and more. So before you buy a motor oil for your car, know the one more top mechanics put into theirs. People who know use Valvoline.
Bill Belichick, in his third year as the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. He was the defensive coordinator on the two giant Super Bowl championship teams. And you played for him, Beasley, and spent a lot of time with him yesterday.
Yeah, I did, and we had a great conversation about this whole Kosar thing. The team's trying to get past it. He said that the pressure is on him, that he's the one they're going to boo, and that's exactly where he wants the pressure to be, so these guys can play some football.
Wilcox with a quick out to Mark Carrier. Putting on some moves at the 20-yard line, and a quick out on first down is good for a gain of almost 10 yards. We'll see where they spot him out of bounds. They're going to spot him out at the 21-yard line, so at that point it's about an 8-yard gain.
Even though the receiver slips down, Phil Cox with a strong throw, very accurate. Mark Carrier, they got him from Tampa Bay. He's got great quickness. And, you know, Todd needs something real good to happen. Real good to happen. He had a lot of turnovers last week against Seattle. He needs to play well today.
The Oilers, a blitzing, attacking defense under defense coordinator Buddy Ryan. Now, Phil Cox loses his footing. An area of the field has been resodded. That would be the baseball infield for the Cleveland Browns. Next year, this will be strictly a football stadium as the baseball Indians will move to a new stadium in town. A natural grass field here. Browns working with the gusting wind at their back. Wind is swirling.
This is exactly what he did not need. I mean, that's the kind of thing that fuels these people's, the fans, and they're upset over Bernie Kosar being out of here. There's your baseball setup. You can see how he's in the infield when he sets up and slips that time.
Third down. They need 4. Another quick out, missed over the middle, beautifully executed, but now the ball is taken away by Dishman. He literally took it away from Patrick Rowe, who caught the ball, and it's the Houston Oilers ball on a brilliant defensive play by Chris Dishman.
He's the best cover guy on this football team, Don, and he was all over the wide receiver. I mean, when you're in position like that, Patrick Rowe makes a great catch. Phil Cox makes a perfect throw, but Dishman is on the guy's back. Look at the close. The close on the ball was special, and as he fought for the tackle, look what he found. Pulled it out and made a nice return. That's a big play, and it's the kind of plays that winning, very, very good football teams and attacking defenses make.
The Oilers have defeated the Browns 5 of the last 6 times they've played. As you saw, it's been a series of very close games. Now the Oilers with the first turnover of the day, and turnovers have been the nemesis of their offense, although they've cut them down. Here's a fumble, and the Cleveland Browns might have it right back. Del Spear might have the ball, a rookie who's starting in the defensive secondary. No sooner said than the problems the Oilers have had with turnovers. They lead the NFL with 29 turnovers, and we'll see if it's 30.
The players make plays.
Browns have it.
And they make a play. Players make plays. The defense came crashing in there. There were people pulling on Brown's helmet. He was all in bad positions, and the defense kept striking at him until they got him to turn the ball over. Now, last week, Brown put on a show. I mean, the guy had gigantic holes, but this offensive line of Houston is working against one of the best front sevens in football now, so the going is not going to be as easy. Look, people hitting him, going at him immediately. I saw Michael D. Perry in there, a bunch of guys hitting at the ball. Cleveland's coming up with the play.
So, consecutive turnovers, and the ball now is back in the hands of the Cleveland Browns. Todd Philcox, who is the starting quarterback, was really victimized last week at Seattle. Philcox lost the ball on the first play from scrimmage on a fumble that was run in for a touchdown by Blackman, and the Browns never really recovered from that as they turned the ball over 7 times in that game.
Philcox is still struggling. He missed what was a sure touchdown, and then he fell down on one drop back. He needs something good to happen.
Our drive straight ahead, and Vardell takes the ball across to the 26-yard line.
Just straight ahead blocking by the offensive line, nothing tricky. You see the good push up front, and Tommy Vardell is one of the strongest fullbacks in the game. He just forces his way up for 5 or 6 yards there.
Second down and 3 at the Cleveland 26.
Browns break the huddle now. Ball positioned at their 26-yard line. Second down and 3, no score. Philcox using a power set in his backfield with double tight ends to Vardell. And the Oilers shut it down momentarily. Vardell, a senior back out of Stanford, fights off it and gets close to the 30-yard line.
Tommy took about 2 yards there. I mean, they had him stopped in beyond the line of scrimmage, actually. Nice little effort, but still good job by the Houston defense. Here's a perfect look at it. Nothing up front, really. Good job by the defense. Glenn Montgomery, number 94, actually neutralizing the offensive line and turning back into touchdown. Tommy, looks like it's close enough for them to measure. Tell you what, that turns it into a great run. The man makes 3 yards when there's nothing there and gets the first down.
Vardell comes into the game as the Browns' leading rusher with 448 yards. He's averaging over 4 yards a rush. Cleveland runs the ball well. Both these teams run for over 4 yards a carry. Very impressive running statistics. But the Browns are way down in overall offense. Their passing game is near the bottom. First down, nice play fake by Philcox. Buys some time and hits his open man, the tight end Kinchin. And he's out across the 45-yard line, out to the 47. Where Bubba McDowell, the strong safety, knocks him out of bounds after a gain of 17 yards.
Well, that's what happens when you play man for man all the time. You play it first, second down, even though it may be a running down. That time, the guy covering the tight end got lost. He fell for the run fake. Covering him was supposed to be 59 Joe Bowden. Joe got lost to the tight end all by himself. And you know Buddy Ryan has got to be a little bit upset because he had everything designed perfectly, but when you fall for the run fake and you're covering the tight end, there's no way in the world that you're going to stop the play.
So the Browns in this scoreless game have a first down. Philcox again looking deep. Triggers a lofted flow as the fight for this ball, and it's taken by Cleveland at the 18-yard line. Mark Carrier goes up and comes down with it for a 30-yard gain.
God, it was a horrible pass. Look at Philcox. He's even smiling there. The ball came out of his hand like a wounded duck. I mean, it was fluttering around up there. If they hadn't been in man-for-man coverage and a zone principle, somebody would be able to see this. See if you can see the football. Look at it. That thing, I'm telling you, there's a couple of 10-year-olds out here in the punt, pass, and kick contest that can throw better than that. Carrier makes the play by coming back and out-jumping everybody for the ball.
So the Cleveland offense, which rates 25th in the NFL out of 28 teams, comes up with some big plays in this drive and is now threatening. Vardell cutting back. He takes it down to the 13-yard line. Al Smith, the middle linebacker, comes up to make the stop for the Oilers.
Good job by the Browns offensive line. They are pushing a very good Cleveland team around a little bit. And Tommy's making the nice cutbacks to find the creases in the defense. And as big and strong as he is, you're going to gain some yards.
The winner of this game could have a share of first place with the Steelers by the end of the day. Our doubleheader game is Pittsburgh at Denver. Steelers go out there after that big win at Buffalo as an underdog to the Broncos. Philcox in a rollout. Takes a look. Here comes the rush, and he throws it away wisely. And a penalty marker comes in. Leroy Horde protesting that he was interfered with. He was coming out of the backfield. Ray Childress put a big rush on for the Oilers. And it is a holding call against the Oilers, a first down for Cleveland.
Well, they were holding some of the receivers downfield. I thought that was a very smart play by Phil Cox.
Holding, 95, defense, 5 yards, first down.
William Fuller on the right-hand side of your screen is the culprit. Comes off the ball and holding him right there. He's holding on to the fullback, number 33, Leroy Horde. Phil Cox made a smart move there by throwing the ball away. That was a great job by Phil Cox.
It was indeed, and now it is first and goal inside the 10-yard line. Quick drop, throw to the end zone, off the hands of Michael Jackson, who is one of the NFL's best in yardage per catch, 19.8. 6 for touchdowns.
Well, Michael is a big target. Steve Jackson, the corner that he's working against, is only 5'8". So they figure they throw it up. They've got the taller, better leaper. Figure maybe they'll come down with the touchdown. That time the ball just a little bit behind him.
Steve Jackson getting a lot of action at the right cornerback position. He does have 2 interceptions this year. Both these starting cornerbacks out of Purdue, Dishman and Jackson. Second down and goal now for Phil Cox. He takes a look. He eludes the rush. Phil Cox throws to the end zone. And they wave it off, and here's another penalty marker in.
Lamar Latham was blitzing all the way from start to finish on this play. He's wearing number 57. I think Phil Cox saw that before the play even started and knew exactly what he was going to do with the ball.
So this one will be against the Browns as they send in Metcalf now. It was amazing, Beasley, how all the Houston coaches were raving about Metcalf and how they really feel he's the key to stopping Cleveland. If you don't corral him, as Pardee put it, you can lose this game.
Well, the guy can do everything. See, he beats you coming out of the backfield as a receiver. He beats you as a running back, as a return specialist. You know, when they put up what they call the MDM, the most dangerous man, every game, every team does it. And the most dangerous man offensively for Cleveland is without question Metcalf.
Some dramatic turns early. A takeaway by Chris Dishman.
Offense. Ineligible downfield. 5-yard penalty is declined. Third down.
Tony Jones, the left tackle, who's having a good year, was downfield looking to block because he figured that's what Phil Cox is going to do with the ball, run with it. So he's an illegal man downfield, and that will now set the ball at the 7-yard line. Bring up third down.
The blitz of the linebacker, Lamar Latham, destroyed that play from the beginning. Phil Cox knew the play that he called was not going to work, and that's the reason that whole play was out of sync.
Now the referee Ron Blum steps in and calls a timeout, all by the Browns. Back to Cleveland Stadium in a moment.
After all these years, Watson, the trail is decidedly cold.
But Holmes, it's quite warm in here.
All these years.
Curiously cozy.
No, fiendishly clever. Observe, Watson. Warm house, many years. It must be...
Lennox.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
For home heating, for cooking, for hot water, use clean natural gas. America's best energy value.
The new GeoPrism has asphalt laminates, foam blocks, and hydraulic engine mounts. They do more than make Prism a very quiet car. They help keep the sounds you don't want out and the sounds you do want in. So before you buy your next car, get to know the new GeoPrism, because what you hear in your car should be up to you.
Hurry to McDonald's Holiday Film Festival, featuring the classic Charlotte's Web, unbelievably priced at just $5.99 when you buy any large sandwich. Or get the hit Ghost.
Yes!
Or the Addams Family.
Showtime!
Or Wayne's World. Just $5.99 each when you buy any large sandwich.
No way.
You can see these new movies at theaters and own the originals. But hurry, because these values will be gone in a flash. What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Geo, inviting you to get to know the newest GeoPrism, only at your Chevrolet Geo dealers. By Valvoline Motor Oil, people who know use Valvoline. By Black & Decker, the source of powerful gift ideas. And by the 25th Anniversary Diamond, for a brilliant celebration of your loving marriage.
The left tackle, Tony Jones, is the guy that they call for being downfield. He thinks it's a run, and look at him. He's all the way in the end zone right now, and that's the reason for the penalty, because Phil Cox ended up throwing a pass. I think that's a pretty good call, Doug.
Yeah, good place to be if you're eligible in the end zone, but he wasn't. So now third down comes up. But the Oilers have him at the 4-yard line, and Cleveland will send out its field goal kicker. Matt Stover having a good year. He's hit 8 of 11 field goal tries. Comes out now. Pretty much sure shot range with the wind at his back. So the Cleveland Browns, capitalizing on the 30th turnover of the season committed by the Oilers, take the ball downfield and get in position for the first score of the game.
Well, there was a strange drive, Don. They had the one fluke play where Phil Cox threw this flying duck kind of a ball that was caught by Carrier. And some good running, though. Good run blocking and good running by Vardell. They did earn it.
21-yard field goal is spun up and good by Hansen. And the underdog Browns, underdogs on their home field, take the lead 3-0. Cleveland will kick off when we come back.
Like a rock. Here's the Chevy S Series in color. Here it is in black and white. The new Chevy S Series. Everything else is history.
The problem with cotton pants is they come out of the dryer with all these wrinkles. But hey, Hager wrinkle-free cottons are 100% cotton. They come out of the dryer wrinkle-free. Really, really hot.
Hager wrinkle-free cotton. 100% cotton, 0% wrinkles.
Some people get nasal congestion, but if you get sinus congestion, use a sinus spray like Sinex. Only Sinex has a decongestant plus Vicks Vapors, so you can feel your swollen passages open up. For sinus, think Sinex.
Wouldn't it be great? Yeah! If you invented a special potion that turned anybody into Rachel Hunter, the supermodel.
Ralph, would you take me for a walk?
Cool.
Ralph, we gotta work all weekend.
All weekend.
And your special potion turned ordinary beer in a can into Keystone, Keystone Light, and Keystone Dry, specially lined for really smooth
bottle beer taste. Ralph, mind if I join your party?
Sure, Bert. Come on over. Wouldn't that be great?
Over the 4-game win streak the Oilers are enjoying, Warren Moon has completed over 70% of his passes with 10 touchdowns and just 3 interceptions. And in the natural gas quarterback efficiency ratings, Boomer Esiason of the Jets continues to lead in the American Conference. Scott Mitchell now sidelined with an injury. Right behind him for Miami. Elway and another injured Miami quarterback, Dan Marino, 3 and 4. Stover kicks off, hits a knuckleball downfield. It is fielded nicely by Willie Drury, who takes it across the 20. Willie putting on some nice moves, takes it to the 27-yard line. And there the run and shoot will go on offense, 1st and 10. A 16-yard return by Drury.
Well, the run and shoot has got its work cut out for it today, because this is not a team that you can push around with your offensive line. I think the key confrontation when you're talking about Houston's offense against Cleveland's D is the offensive line of the Houston Oilers. What will they be able to do against Ball and Perry and Jones? I mean, those are tough guys up front in the middle. So the Oilers, they really play well when Gilbride and his boys, the offensive coordinator there, Kevin Gilbride, when he's able to run for 3-4 yards a crack into play action, allowing Moon to do his thing.
The Oilers, the 3rd best passing team in the NFL. Cleveland 20th in pass defense. Here's a connection. Webster Slaughter with his 59th catch. The ball is knocked away and taken away. Let's see what the ruling is. It appears to be the Cleveland Browns ball again, as the turnover nemesis of the Houston Oilers bites him again.
That's amazing. That's amazing play by the defense. You're talking about some big hits, people rushing to the ball. I mean, this is a routine play for the Houston Oilers. Little 5-step drop, Warren finding his man, but at the other end, watch the defensive play. Hard hit in the back by number 48, Mustafa.
At the spot of the interception. First down, Cleveland.
Whoa.
Well, we got a penalty. It's still Cleveland's ball, though. Najee Mustafa with the hard hit in the back makes this play. Mike Johnson, the linebacker, coming up with the football.
Didn't have to be a catch and a fumble because on the carom, Mike Johnson got it in midair.
So it's called an interception?
Yep. So
what a play.
The Oilers turn it over again. 3 possessions, twice they've turned it over. Cleveland Browns continue to lead the game 3-0, and now they start from the Oilers' 41-yard line. Oilers with good statistical numbers across the board. Their defense overall is 10th in the NFL. Matched against the 25th rated offense. Cleveland Browns with 1 turnover today. Trying to cut down. Bill Belichick said if we don't put the ball on the field, we got a chance to win this. Bill Cox, good mobility, fires downfield, and he hits an open man. Mark Carrier's inside the 20-yard line. And he's down close to the 11 as a very emotional, spirited Cleveland team, after the throes of controversy that surrounded this club, really rising up today. That was a 27-yard gain.
The play action is really working well for the Cleveland Browns. Obviously, Houston is respecting touchdown Tommy Vardell. Look at the fake. Look at the defense moving. Everybody moving to the right. And Bill Cox with the mobility to buy himself time, getting outside of all of the rushers and making a good throw out to Carrier. That's a great play. Good play. It's that mobility factor. Bill Cox with the nice play fakes, moving outside of the entire defense. You didn't see a single Oiler player in front of Bill Cox when he threw the ball.
So the Browns get another chance to score now, leading 3-0 with 7 minutes and 5 seconds to play in the first quarter. Timing pattern to Jackson, just overshot.
Don, I am convinced that what they're thinking is the height advantage is going to help them out there. Michael Jackson is 6'4". Steve Jackson, the defender, number 24 for Houston, is 5'8".
Yeah.
Look at this. My athlete is taller. He's a better athlete than yours. I'm going to throw it up high, see if mine can jump and catch it.
Close to pass interference, but none called.
And Lathan really late there with the shot. Lamar Lathan, a very aggressive, blitzing linebacker. Phil Cox is saying, hey.
Lathan will be blitzing a lot. Here comes the big rush. They get Phil Cox and lose him, and he's on the run. Throwing to the end zone. And the ball is picked off. Here's a penalty marker down, though. Absolute madness here at Cleveland Stadium. On the run is Marcus Robertson. Still flying across inside the 40. But there's a penalty marker back at the 13-yard line as he ran it back from the end zone 70 yards. A wild day in Cleveland.
This is a wild day. Phil Cox did a great job working his way around to get free to throw that ball. Now it looks like this penalty may be on Cleveland. Let's see here.
Illegal forward pass.
Okay.
Quarterback was beyond the line of scrimmage. Penalty is declined. First down, Houston.
So it is. You can't intercept an illegal forward pass. There's no question. That's what the case was here.
Good escapability here, but he takes about 2 steps too many. See, the official is standing right at the line of scrimmage. And Phil Cox throws it about 2 steps beyond him. And a super play made by the safety Marcus Robinson and a great run back. And we've got some highlights working here today, Don.
Beasley, we've only played 8 minutes and 16 seconds, and we've got 4 turnovers, 2 each way.
And, you know, both coaches, offensive coaches, defensive coaches for both teams said the number one thing we must do is not turn the ball over.
So much for that. Now Warren Moon takes a look at the Cleveland defense. Here comes the rush. They're strong up the middle of the Browns. Downfield throw, much too high. As Curtis Duncan was the intended receiver, other than Jeffries, the Oiler receivers are not tall, but they do have great ability to go up and come down with the ball. Haywood Jeffries is 6'4". Moon's now 0 for 4 with an interception.
Yeah, he's thrown maybe 2 balls that were off the money. The other interception was a result of good defensive play. That last throw was, I'll call that a Mooney. That was his fault. He threw that a little too high, a little too far to the inside. I can't believe the turnovers this early in the game to have 4 is pretty bad.
Oilers throwing on virtually every down. Here comes an all-out blitz. Moon swings it out. This could go for big yardage as Gary Brown is on the run. Inside the 30 and the 25. And Brown, who had that brilliant game last week, takes it down to the 21-yard line. So the Browns blitzed. You live by the blitz and you die by it. They get beat.
They had the right call on against the defense that it could exploit the easiest. It was a 17-yard gain. The all-out blitz traps everybody on the inside, so when Brown catches the ball, he's got from the numbers to the sideline to work on all by himself. And for a big man, you see, the guy's very elusive.
He's seen a lot in 9 years as a DB in this league. But
I saw it all, and that guy's got some moves, and he's big.
Moon again to throw on first down. Timing throw, and it's off the hands of Haywood Jeffries at the 2-yard line. Mustafa was covering very nearly a touchdown for the Oilers.
Well, Haywood Jeffries is a big target. He's one of the best. Mustafa having a super game. Nice position from start to finish. And you see the hand around his waist. If you're down in Houston screaming for a flag, they allow you to do that this year. You can wrap your arm around the receiver, but you cannot pull or push him. You can't change his running motion. There's Kevin Gilbride, the offensive coordinator for the Houston Oilers. What he does is he picks a number. The plays are numbered on his wrist. He signals it in. He likes to go to Haywood Jeffries for the touchdown tries. He just tried it.
This will be the 7th pass in 9 downs. Here's a throw downfield. It's completed for an Oiler first down to the 9-yard line. Haywood Jeffries with a brilliant reception. This is a guy over the last 2 seasons, 91 and 92, has caught 190 passes. Haywood Jeffries. He's caught 44 this season, and Najee Mustafa, a starting cornerback for the Browns, is down.
Well, Mustafa has laid some major league hits on some guys today, and this time the safety and Mustafa come in together.
Oh, that's nice.
See, they come in together and hit each other. So Turner that time popping his teammate, popping his buddy. Eric Turner, a very, very hard hitter, came into this game with 88 tackles. Boy, he hit his partner that time. Haywood Jeffries wisely ducked at just the right time. Watch Mustafa takes a shot.
Oh, yeah.
Jeffries ducks, and Mustafa catches it in the side of the head. That's called an ear hole shot. And I'm telling you, that'll knock you out quicker than anything in the world. Right in the little ear hole. You see the ear hole right there?
Yeah.
Right in that ear hole, another helmet pops you right there, and it's like a bell ringing inside of your head. Nobody wants the ear hole shot now.
I never heard the term.
Well, you know.
Obviously, Najee didn't want it.
No, he didn't want it, and hopefully he gets up and bounces away from this.
Might have knocked him out. It was an absolutely brilliant play by Haywood Jeffries of the Oilers. They're all-pro receiver. Jeffries has some story. In his first 2 years in the league, he caught only 9 passes. A couple years ago, he caught 100. Belichick comes out. I want to remind you that coming up on most of these NBC stations, it's game 2 of our NFL doubleheader. And most of you will see the Steelers, leaders in the AFC Central, go against the Broncos at Mile High Stadium in Denver. Some of you will see the LA Raiders take on the San Diego Chargers. Check your local listings for the game in your area. Denver's so tough to beat at Mile High. Pittsburgh coming off a tremendous win, the shutout of Buffalo last Monday night. Najee Mustafa still down. And as you pointed out, Beasley, the contact really came from a fellow defender.
And that happens a lot in the defensive secondary. It also happens a lot to defensive linemen and linebackers that are holding a guy that they're trying to tackle. The DB comes in and cleans them off.
So while Mustafa's attended to, we'll break here in Cleveland.
Yeah, everybody thinks they know Troy Aikman, huh? Yeah, well, I'll tell you about Troy Aikman. He's a cool customer. I mean, I remember this one time. He was surrounded by crazed linemen. I was the ref, and I was yelling at him, "Troy, run, man, run!" Ha, ha, ha! No, he stayed in that pocket, threw a perfect strike, and then, oh, man, Aikman took it. Like a man, man.
At the end of the day, more top mechanics in America choose one motor oil over any other brand to help keep their own cars running longer. Valvoline motor oil. People who know use Valvoline.
Just try Black & Decker's Power Driver with torque control. You'll notice one major difference, the clutch. The higher the setting, the more powerful it gets. Power Driver and Power Driver with torque control from Black & Decker.
You've waited for a Buick. You've waited for Buick quality at a low sticker price. You've waited for a car with Buick's reputation for safety. It seems you've waited for a century. Buick Century, with standard driver airbag, anti-lock brakes, power locks and windows, and more. All for $14,995. So don't wait any longer. See your Buick dealer today. This is the value of the century.
2 parents murdered. Could their sons have done it?
I can't take it anymore.
A movie the Chicago Sun-Times calls emotionally powerful, gripping. A powerfully intense 2 hours of drama, says the LA Daily News. Neil Patrick Harris and Roseanne's Johnny Galecki give outstanding and moving performances. A family torn apart. NBC tonight. Parental discretion advised.
You can see that Mustafa is up and walking around, but he is obviously dazed. And I'm telling you, when you get hit in the side of the helmet, it's called the ear hole shot by the players. You see, he goes in to hit Hayward Jeffries and his own teammate, and it happens a lot. Eric Turner coming in, trying to finish off the play. Jeffries smart enough to duck. Got him right in the side of the head, and I'm telling you, that kid doesn't know where he is. When they get you to the sideline, they ask you questions like, what town is this? There's this replacement, number 22, Selwyn Jones. He's got 3 interceptions already this year, a young guy, second year out of Colorado State, a 6-footer, 185 pounds.
You tell him it's Las Vegas, you don't go in for a while, right?
No, they don't. You tell him it's vacation time and you sit down and rest, young man. So hopefully he's okay.
Now the Oilers, after a brilliant reception by Haywood Jeffries, have the ball. First down and 10 at the 10-yard line. Looks like actually first and goal with the ball is position. They got to take it in. They go to the run, and Gary Brown fights hard for a couple, but he's thrown back by the middle linebacker, Mike Johnson, a 2-time All-Pro player, Pro Bowler. Man they call the brain of the Cleveland defense.
Well, if you're down in Texas and you're thinking about what happened last week with that offensive line blowing people off the ball, it's not going to happen today. This is the best, one of the best front sevens in all of football. And Munchak, Matthews, Dawson, those guys have their work cut out for them today. You saw the neutralization by the defensive line immediately.
Brown's not doing a whole lot.
He's got 3 rushes for 5 yards and a fumble. So it's going to be hard going today. This is against a good defense.
After a career day a week ago. Second down. Warren Moon takes a look. The blitz is coming. Warren Moon's going to get eaten by it. Free ball. It's on the field. Cleveland has it. 3 turnovers for Houston in less than a quarter. So Warren Moon, who has just had an awful start to this season, then has been brilliant, now falling back to the turnover problem, as are his teammates with 3 in the first quarter.
Normally Moon stands calmly. Look how quick his feet are moving. He sees the pocket collapsing immediately against a very, very good defense. You don't have time to stand up and survey, and that is really the key to this game. Whether or not they can give Moon time, they did not, and it equals a turnover. That's a super play by that across the board. Michael Dean, Ball, Burnett, all of them collapsed that pocket immediately.
Jeff Pardee watching his offense misfire. Now the Browns try again. Eric Metcalf, the man they said they have to corral. Here's a penalty marker in. It could be a face mask. William Fuller was the man who tackled Metcalf.
Bubba McDowell was up very, very quickly to make the play there.
Ball's going to go against Cleveland for tripping.
That's a call you don't see very much.
Now, if you can't block him, trip him if you don't get caught. It's a fine art. Guys are good at it.
It's a fine technique, something that guys develop over the years.
tripping. 44 offense. Half the distance to the goal from the previous spot.
A good tripper, Beasley, like a good long snapper, can last a long time. Huh?
Now watch 44, Tommy Vardell. He's going for the shot, sticks that leg up, and gets him right there. If you miss him on the first block, you know, you do what you have to do in this game.
And now the Browns have to be very protective of that ball, deep in their own end, and leading the game 3-0 with 4 minutes and 5 seconds to play in the first quarter. First down and 17 with the ball is position. Vardell cut as he takes it to the left gap. Wilbur Marshall showing that all-pro form of his, number 58, shooting the gap. Wilbur, he gets there fast.
Let me tell you something. He was in there so fast that the offense had no chance. I'm telling you, he hit that about 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. And the defense coordinator, Buddy Ryan, said this is a paid killer. Look at, wow. Did he crush the lead blocker or what?
He was a key player.
Oh, threw his way in. That was Ron Wolfley trying to block him.
He played for Buddy at Chicago when they won the Super Bowl in '85, and Ryan coached the Mike Ditka defense at Chicago. Wilcox, another good play fake. He gets the ball away, and here's a penalty marker coming in after the play as Wilcox is swept under. Ray Childress, armed with a new multi-million-dollar contract, continues to prove his great value to the Oilers.
Well, Wilcox had some time there.
Holding on the defense. First down, Browns.
Well, you can tell now this is going to be one of those. This is going to be one of those games.
Holding, 25 defense, 5 yards from the previous spot. First down.
Bubba McDowell, a strong safety call for holding. Bubba was telling us he really likes playing in the Buddy Ryan system. He said one thing about Ryan, he might be controversial in quotes he makes to the press, but he never criticizes or gets down on players who are having trouble. He's always encouraging, building people up. He said he's a great motivator. You really want to play hard for him. Now it's first down and 10 for the Cleveland Browns, just across their 10-yard line. Another marker down. Might be an offside against the Oilers as Leroy Horde runs the ball for Cleveland. Right end might have jumped. Bubba McDowell was on the tackle for the Oilers. One of the criticisms of the Oilers over the wins was they really didn't beat a lot of good teams. But as Moon said, yeah, you line up against whoever they schedule you against, and that's who you have to beat. And
you know,
they did beat Kansas City 30-0.
They were a little sensitive about that too. I mean, I asked several players that question about, you know, beating teams that they're basically supposed to beat, and every one of them.
95 defense, 5 yards, repeat first down.
So William Fuller, the culprit on the offsides call, but the Houston Oilers are very defensive about their last 4 wins. They think that they should be respected for it. It was against NFL teams, and you know, Seattle is a decent team. They beat Seattle, they beat Cincinnati twice, which everybody has done. Today's a show-me day for the Houston Oilers, no matter what those players say.
Again, a penalty marker is thrown as there are 2 markers down now. Vardell running straight ahead. Wilcox is obviously triggering that Houston pass rush early with either his count call or a movement of the head, but he's doing it nicely.
You hit it right on the head. That's what I was about to say. I think that Wilcox might be working that voice box really well. That was Glenn Montgomery
57
and
defense,
57
offside.
Lamar Latham.
Penalty is declined. First down.
You do this enough, you can march right down the field. They do decline the penalty on Latham.
Here's a good shot at Latham. There he goes. There he stops. Can't get back in time.
We've had a wild first quarter, only 3 points scored. That on a 21-yard field goal by Matt Stover of Cleveland, but there have been 5 turnovers so far. 3 by the Oilers, 2 by the Browns. Vardell cutting back. Our runner taking on people on a first down carry. He's close to the 29-yard line. He gains 6.
The Houston Oilers defense is overreacting. I mean, Tommy Vardell is doing the same thing every time. He takes a couple of steps to the left, everybody collapses to the inside, and he bends it back to the right and finds an opening. You see, all of the Houston Oilers are jumping. They're reacting too quickly. They're over-pursuing. And Vardell wisely cutting back every time, making yards.
Najee Mustafa, a cornerback for the Browns, who was knocked out a bit ago, Still being attended to as Hardell runs again, and he gets to the 30-yard line.
A few of the Houston Oilers staying at home this time. Latham and Marshall. It's a very interesting defense that they run in Houston. I mean, in today's football, for you to put 11 people on the field and stay with them no matter what is very, very interesting. It's a Buddy Ryan invention, something he perfected in Chicago. And they blitz you. He will blitz you from a million different directions.
So Najee Mustafa, who was signed as a free agent, had played with the Vikings. He's being taken to the locker room to be looked at. As third down comes up now for Phil Cox and the Browns, and they go to Leroy Horde, and the big back from Michigan with a first takes it across the 35-yard line and out to the 38. The safety's got him, but it's a first down for Cleveland.
Hey, Don, good offensive line, two big bruiser running backs in Horde and Vordell. Look at the blocking. That is super blocking by Williams, the tight end, number 49, sealing off the inside. And that's, you know, the first downs kind of tell it all. Houston's got 2. Cleveland's got 8. Leroy Horde having a pretty good power day today on his couple of runs.
Phil Cox, timing throw, guns it to the flat. The only guy near it was Steve Jackson.
That was a misread, Don. Obviously, Phil Cox saw a blitz. He stops quickly, expecting Michael Jackson to be stopped immediately. Jackson and Metcalf continue running down the field, and the ball is thrown behind him. That's miscommunication. That's miscommunication.
Buddy Ryan, the defensive coordinator of the Oilers, told us yesterday, if we don't turn the ball over, we can beat anybody. But today, they've turned it over. The Oilers offense has 3 times. And consequently, they find themselves down in the game 3-0. Houston coming in as a favorite. Both these teams 5-4 in the AFC Central, a game behind the Steelers. Phil Cox releases the ball just as he's about to be sacked.
There's an intentional.
If it is, it's expensive because you lose the down also. Loss of down is part of that penalty.
Phil Cox is saying, now, wait a minute, there's a receiver right over there that I was throwing at. I didn't see anybody, and neither did the officials.
Intentional grounding, number 17. 10 yards from the previous spot. Loss of goal, third down.
He's got the boombox going out there.
He hit the button on loss of down because that's a serious part of this penalty is the loss of down thing.
Glenn Montgomery, a former Houston Cougar, has been coming on. Moving ahead of Lee Williams and starting at defensive tackle now. Glenn Montgomery makes a big play, and that sets the Browns back to make it 3rd down and 20 from the Cleveland 28-yard line. First quarter winding out. 6 seconds to go in it, and the clock running. Colts a surprise leader at Buffalo, 6-0 in the second quarter. And that will do it for the first 15 minutes of play. A wild turnover-filled 15 minutes with the Browns in the lead 3-0. Cleveland, Ohio floats one of America's most enduring images, the Goodyear blimp. Goodyear is providing our aerial views for today's game. Don Criqui with Beasley Reese at Cleveland Stadium on a cold, windy, and clear November day. You see the numbers through the first quarter of play. Browns doing well in the first down department.
The big one, Don, is the total yards. I mean, Houston with 29, Cleveland with 141, and that tells the story. They've been running better. They've been controlling the ball better.
They go to the line, does Cleveland, with a 3rd down and 20 play coming. Phil Cox stands in. Diving play on the ball. Nicely done by Mark Carrier, who's down to the 37-yard line.
You see Dishman in there trying to pull the ball out. You know what? It's really hard-hitting and aggressive defense that's making this game really interesting. You saw them struggling there at the bottom. This is a good throw by Phil Cox. They flood an area. 3 receivers out. Carrier breaks out. Watch how quickly he gets up. That almost gains a first down for him. Carrier's got 4 for 80 already. This guy is putting on a show. We're just in the second quarter.
Now Brian Hansen ready to punt into the wind. Billy Drury's back. Well hit ball by Hansen. Starts to hang. From the 15, here comes Willie Drury. Hunting that football. They're really attacking the ball, looking to knock it free. Gerald Dixon came down to make the tackle, number 51 for the Oilers. A 48-yard punt by Hansen, a 9-yard return. Tuesday night, football legend Broadway Joe Namath joins the fun with John Larroquette on the all-new episode of the John Larroquette Show. That's Tuesday at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, right here on NBC.
You know, Don, it's really been all these turnovers. I'm telling you, it's not the weather. It's a perfect day out here in Cleveland in November. And it's a hard-hitting defense.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are just, this is a game to watch if you like hard-hitting and scrambling deep. No quarterback has just stood up and hit some defender in the chest. These guys are playing great defense.
They said the key was to rattle Moon early, and they've done that. Now Moon throws to an open man. Beautifully done by Duncan, coming back at the ball for a Houston first down to the 38-yard line. Selwyn Jones was defending, but it was a 15-yard gain on the play.
Selwyn Jones got an education that time. That was an awesome move at the end of that play. I mean, Dawkins just broke in, broke out, left him all by himself. You see there's about 6 yards between the receiver and defensive back when he catches. That was a great move at the sideline. Selwyn will learn a lot today. He replaced Mustafa, the injured young man who is in the locker room right now getting checked out. Selwyn.
Duncan, one of the 3 Pro Bowl receivers for the Houston Oilers, lining up against Selwyn again as a throw is downfield and incomplete at the 46-yard line. Triggered towards Curtis Duncan as they're looking at that matchup with Selwyn again. Selwyn Jones.
Warren Moon wanted something there. I don't know what he was asking for, but the ball fell to the ground with no receiver anywhere near it. So maybe Warren felt somebody was pulled or bumped.
Kevin Gilbride, we asked him what's been the difference in this team. Everybody cites the same thing, the play of the offensive line. As Moon said, I'm getting time to set my feet and scan the field. But the Browns have rushed him hard today. They get the big push up the middle with Ball and Michael Dean Berries. Throw downfield. Beautifully done by the Oilers. A perfectly timed arcing throw from Warren Moon to the streaking Curtis Duncan, who again beat Selwyn Jones.
And you'll notice that that's where they will work. They'll work on Selwyn Jones until they force Cleveland to do something to help the young man out by putting safeties over the top. That's a perfect throw. Great strike. And the experienced and talented Duncan going by the young man. And that's where they will work. They'll try to do some business there until they force Cleveland to go to double zones that will give them safety help over the top, and they're lined up in it right now, Don.
Yep, they're going to beat on that all day till they take it away. And here is Gary Brown on a draw play. And Brown, who had the big game last week, turns it up in the head. He's got a first down for the Oilers. Down close to the Browns' 20-yard line. An 11-yard gain on the play. It is a first down. Don Coryell, who coached the great passing game at San Diego, said the key to the pass offense is to find a weak link and beat on it all day.
Tell you what, that's a good job. Look at 74. Watch the center Matthews here. On the draw play, he goes back and then drives forward, sealing off the inside with the great block on Johnson, their fine linebacker. That's just that's a good play and a good block on Mike Johnson by Matthews.
First down and 10 at the 22-yard line. Brown breaks it into the Cleveland secondary, and Gary Brown, who told us that he was always quietly confident he could deliver if he ever got the chance. He said, I didn't talk about it. In the NFL, you never know what's going to happen. You just wait your turn, then you have to produce. He got his turn last week because the Pro Bowler Lorenzo White went out with an injury. Hamstring problems that has him sidelined again today. And Gary Brown had one of the greatest days an Oiler running back has had in years. In fact, the last guy to get that many yards was the great Earl Campbell 12 years ago.
There's super blocking up front, and just Brown, like you said, Don, he's a hard runner, very talented guy, and looks like he gets the first down.
He does get it, and the ball is positioned now at the 11-yard line. We're early in the second quarter, 12 minutes and 11 seconds to play in it. Brown now with 26 yards on 5 carries. Gary Brown. He was an 8th-round draft choice. He said he had 2 positions at Penn State. He's never really sure what he was. He was a strong safety one year and a running back the next. And now he's a running back all the way. Getting more and going in. And the Oilers take the lead as Gary Brown bounces off a head-on shot and takes it in for the first touchdown of the game.
Well, Don, that happens all the time. You see that when a running back goes into the line of scrimmage and he's lost by the defense. He goes into a pile and comes out of it. Now, look, Michael Dean with a great shot on it, All the other Brown defenders head into that angle, and when he rolls out, he rolls for a walk into the end zone.
Now the point after attempt by Al Del Greco, who's having a terrific year. Del Greco has hit 10 straight field goal attempts, 3 of 4 from over 50 yards. Greg Montgomery's his holder. The point after try. It's on the way and good. And the Cleveland Browns now find themselves down 7-3. They'll be receiving the kickoff when we come back. Penalty marker down on the point after. Referee Ron Blum sorting it out with 11:53 to play in the first half.
Holding, 59 offense, 10 yards, repeat the try.
So now Del Greco takes a practice swing. This will be like a medium-range field goal attempt. Joe Bowden called for the penalty. The hold now at the 20-yard line, which makes it a 30-yard kick. Take the overhead view of the setup. It's on the way, and it's good. So they did it the hard way, did the Oilers, but they did get the extra point, and they lead 7-3.
People around Flat Rock, Michigan have a lot of reasons to be proud. One of which is building the Mazda 626. Because even with dual airbags and a V6 engine, it still costs less than a 4-cylinder Camry LE. 6 cylinders that cost less than 4? People in Flat Rock think that's a powerful argument for the 626. And so do we. Mazda. It just feels right.
American Express asks card members to make a difference in the fight against hunger. This is how much of a difference they've made so far. Help us raise up to $5 million. Use the American Express card to charge against hunger now till December 31st.
Butch Haynes has a head start and a hostage.
Put the gun down, old-timer. Probably shoot the boy.
He's going to need them both.
This happens to be a manhunt.
Kevin Costner, Clint Eastwood, A Perfect World. Rated PG-13. Starts November 24th everywhere.
The Schick ST with the one-push cleaning bar gives men a closer shave than the 3 leading disposables. And men say it delivers a safer shave than the 3 leading disposables. So, for a better overall shave than the 3 leading disposables, it's the ST from Schick. We're changing the face of shaving.
Back at Cleveland Stadium, Don Criqui with Beasley Reese after the Oilers settled down after 3 first-quarter turnovers. That run-and-shoot offense starting to kick in now. They're getting a lot of yards, and they got the first touchdown.
Well, they're getting some good blocking. They're calling some great plays. Warren Moon is starting to get some things. I mean, he's been throwing well all along, but he hits it well, and they make some plays now.
Warren Moon says the whole key, getting time to set his feet and scan the field. And now Del Greco will kick off. Baldwin is back deep for the Cleveland Browns, and he'll field the ball at the 10. Hard-running Randy Baldwin takes it across the 30 and out to the 32-yard line, but a penalty marker comes in. Tackle made by Michael Barrow, number 51, a linebacker from Miami of Florida that Buddy Ryan says is going to be a superstar.
On the last touchdown, you...
Right now, the Cleveland Browns have the ball positioned at their 18-yard line after the penalty. A little technical difficulty with your mic there, Bees, but we'll have you hooked up here again with the backup unit. Right now, the Cleveland Browns have the ball. First down and 10, trailing 7-3. Bardell takes a handoff and a terrific defensive play as Bardell is tackled. Coming across to get him, Wilbur Marshall was on the play. Sean Jones. And the ball is positioned close to the 20-yard line, a gain of less than 2. Oilers with a lot of speed in that defense. Game clock ticking down, 11 minutes and 20 seconds to play in the first half. Cody Ryan, cantankerous in his outward demeanor, but he's a delightful guy to be around.
He really is fun to talk to. In our meetings yesterday, he says he needs some hired killers. He's got one back at Wilbur Marshall, is what he said.
Here's a big rush. Nicely done by Philcox to get the ball away. It wasn't much of a gain, but Al Smith was coming on a middle linebacker blitz, and he got to Philcox and almost sacked him. Philcox did get the ball away and completed it somehow.
You know, that's the philosophy, the Buddy Ryan philosophy. You see the blitz coming from the inside and Wilbur Marshall coming from the outside. It's pressure. His whole scheme is based on getting pressure on the quarterback, making him throw the ball out of a rhythm.
They keep the heat on, as Sean Jones said. If you can withstand pressure, you might do well against us if you're a quarterback. But if you can't take pressure, we'll eat you up because the pressure's nonstop from the Houston rush, blitzing all the time. Another big rush. Philcox stands in. He's picked off by Dishman, who has 2 turnovers to his credit today. And Chris Dishman, a former track star at Purdue, takes it down to the 5-yard line. So Chris Dishman keeps doing this. He's going to be back in the Pro Bowl as he was after the 90 season.
Well, that's exactly what the Cleveland Browns did not want to see happen. I mean, you don't ever want to see that happen, but especially when you've got a quarterback controversy and people upset with the head coach for changing the quarterback position. And then Philcox steps up, and basically nothing happened here. Just the ball a little bit behind Jackson, and Dishman makes a play.
Philcox was troubled in his first start as a Brown last week at Seattle when he fumbled twice, was intercepted twice, and was sacked a couple of times. Now the Oilers, if they've evened the turnover count, 3 for each side in this game, go to the run, and Gary Brown puts his head down, but there's nothing there but Cleveland Browns to throw him back. Led by defensive end Rob Burnett, number 90. Stevan Moore and Michael Dean Perry also on the stop.
Success for this defense is to make them kick a field goal, and that's a great job by the defensive line. Everybody helped, Burnett was there, and then everybody came along and jumped on top to neutralize any possibility of Brown pushing forward.
Now the run and shoot. Beneficiaries of the big play by Chris Dishman from their defense. Set up. 2nd down and goal at the 4-yard line. Oilers looking to take it in for a second touchdown. Here's a timing throw, and it's taken down by Duncan for a touchdown. The run and shoot at its very best as Curtis Duncan, who had problems with a sprained foot earlier this season that kept him out, could have re-injured it, but he did make a tremendous play going up and coming down with the ball.
Well, I talked about it earlier, Don. That's the corner they're going to work on, and they worked on Selwyn Jones, the young man who's filling in. And Duncan is one of the best receivers in the world. You see, there was no question about where Moon was going. He goes back and drops it right in there, right over Selwyn Jones's head. And he was in great position, but he just doesn't have the experience right now to go up against and to neutralize a Duncan.
So it looks like Curtis Duncan's okay, Beasley, as he makes his 3rd touchdown catch here, his 19th reception overall. A 10th round draft choice out of Northwestern, who went to the Pro Bowl last January. Again, Del Greco hits the extra point up and good. And so the run and shoot, after misfiring early, starts to hit big plays and now leads it 14-3.
Your teeth aren't flat, are they? Of course not. If they were, a flat brush would be ideal. But since your teeth are shaped like this, we designed our brush like this. Introducing Crest Complete. Your dentist uses special instruments that get between teeth. Crest Complete gets between too, up to 37% farther than the leading flat bristle brush. So to help maintain a dentist clean at home, get new Crest Complete. Only Crest could make a brush this complete.
In Flat Rock, Michigan, they build the Mazda 626 so that even with its V6 engine, it still costs less than a 4-cylinder Camry LE. Around Flat Rock, they think that's a powerful argument for the 626. And so do we.
Today, Michael White is having a lunch meeting in Indonesia without even leaving town.
This is your life.
Mary Kaplan is keeping things moving in her office, even though she's going nowhere fast.
This is your world.
The With everything from local to long distance to cellular, it's easy to see why Sprint is the choice of millions who need to be there now.
People around Flat Rock, Michigan feel more secure driving the Mazda 626. They make them themselves, so they put dual airbags in every one of theirs. And every one of yours, too.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Mazda. Mazda, it just feels right. By the American Express card, don't leave home without it. By the Schick ST Razor, we're changing the face of shaving. And by Sony, the official video electronics company of the NFL.
Cleveland, Ohio, they call it the Renaissance City. It's really booming in Cleveland, but right now the offense of the Oilers has been making the big noise the last couple of possessions as Belichick's Browns find themselves down 14-3. A high spinning kickoff out of bounds, and the Browns will start out at their 35-yard line. The turnover count for Cleveland during this 93 season, early on when they were so successful, they got to a 5-2 start. Games 1 through 8 had 11 turnovers, and then last week they had 7 against Seattle, and that undid them. They played well for the most part against the Seahawks, except putting the ball on the field killed them.
You can't win with 7 turnovers, and that's the thing that they've got to get straight. So far, they've done a much better job at it.
They have 3 turnovers already today. But so do the Oilers.
Yep.
The rookie center from Michigan, Steve Everett, down over the ball. A key to trying to hold out that up-the-middle pass rush of the Oilers. Nice play fake. Phil Cox buys time. He's lofting a long ball. Jackson is open, and he has it down to the 35-yard line. The deep threat, Michael Jackson, a 36-yard gain.
It's the same fake that they've been using all day long. That's Phil Cox with a nice play fake, and then stepping back and take a look at the little post corner by Jackson. Goes to the inside, comes back to the outside, completely losing Steve Jackson, and his safety not able to get over there in time to give any help whatsoever. That's a super play.
That was outstanding. And the reason it was so successful was Phil Cox is freezing everybody with great play fakes, faking the handoff to his running back. His lone setback now is Leroy Horde. On 1st and 10, Horde gets the ball. Hello. You got to have big-time courage to run the ball in the NFL, and Leroy has it.
Well, you can't take that air option. You go left, you go right, but you go in the air and get caught in the air. And watch what a man like number 94 will do to you, Montgomery. Oh, baby. And then McDowell climbs up Montgomery's back.
You definitely run out of places to go when you take that air route.
You know what happens when you get in the air? You can't cut left or right.
No.
Unless you're Michael Jordan.
Yeah, that's right. Michael Jordan and Superman. That's about the only 2. Now it's 2nd down and 9 for the Cleveland Browns. Phil Cox timing throw, guns it over the middle, and very nearly another connection to Jackson. Broken up by Steve Jackson.
Well, the lines of competition have been drawn here, Don. I mean, it's obvious that they want to get Michael Jackson on Steve Jackson. There's a height advantage for Michael of about, let me see, 4 or 5, about 6 inches. It's clear what they want to do with the football and who they think they match up well against. And that's the key to programming and game planning, offensive defense. Who do you match up well against?
He's getting help. Jackson is from Bubba McDowell, who's sliding across. Cleveland now with a 3rd down and 9. Browns have converted only 1 of 6 previous 3rd downs. But first, there's a timeout.
It seems the more time goes by, the fancier trucks get.
Just a bunch of chrome and snazzy stripes. What the? Phew, Chef.
No. So Mazda went and asked folks what a truck should be.
I need a real truck.
And learn one very important lesson.
You don't run through mud and ballet slippers.
Introducing the bigger.
It's bigger.
Meaner.
It's meaner.
All-new Mazda truck. The only import with a 4-liter V6 and 1 monster warranty.
Better told my dinosaur.
The new Mazda truck.
I like my dinosaur. It's a good dinosaur.
Mazda. It just feels right.
time to review your insurance needs with MetLife. Get Met. It pays.
There is a sound you'll hear in the triangle below Canal Street. It's the sound of German being spoken by those who are moved by the art. In your town, America, and the world, Beck's, the #1 imported German beer.
Do you dream in color? In bottomless blues and screaming yellows? In sounds that shake you to the bottom of your heart? In images clear as crystal and brilliant as ice? In faraway worlds as close as your fingertips? These are what dreams and Sony Trinitron televisions are made of. Make one come true for you. It's your life. Isn't it worth a Sony?
Legendary Eddie Robinson leads his Grambling State Tigers against the Jaguars of Southern University, plus the Battle of the Bands. The Bayou Classic, next Saturday on NBC.
Vinny Testaverde, who will be the starter for the Browns when he's due back. You saw him before the game, Beasley. When's he going to be back?
Well, he thinks he can be back in 3 weeks. He hopes to be back earlier. Bill Belichick told me that he expects him back in 3. So he's excited. He recognizes he's got a great opportunity when he gets back. He's got that right arm in a sling, though. Looks like he'll be out for a year.
He had a separated shoulder. Injured earlier. He came as an off-season acquisition, the former Heisman Trophy winner from Miami of Florida, Vinny Testaverde. Phil Cox against a big rush, and they sack him all the way back at the 42-yard line. Now a penalty marker comes in after the play. That Houston rush, boy, it's fast. Sean Jones with his 9th sack of the year.
Sean Jones has got a lot of sacks in his career. He averages about 10 a year. I mean, this guy is something else. That's a nice rush. That time the play fake did not work. Sean Jones.
Holding, 66 offense. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
They'll take the down as there was a loss on the play of 12 yards.
There's Tony Jones working against Sean Jones and really had no chance whatsoever other than to try to grab the guy.
Again into punt, Brian Hansen for Cleveland, standing at his 45. Tries to pooch punt it, knock a little 9-iron down inside, and he does, but it caroms into the end zone just. So it comes out on a touchback to the 20-yard line, and there, Warren Moon leads out the run-and-shoot offense of the Oilers, looking for more, as they hold a 14-3 lead. At halftime, we'll be going to New York to Jim Lampley and Mike Ditka for the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report. And then, with a preview of the game 2 today, Neil O'Donnell against John Elway as the Steelers head into Mile High Stadium in Denver.
Boy, that should be a great one.
Steelers looking like their Super Bowl defense Monday night against Buffalo.
Didn't they? Hard hitting. Hard to win at Mile High, though. That should be a great game.
Not only were knocking the Bills down, they were knocking them out. Buffalo's come from behind to take a 16-6 lead on the Colts. Warren Moon from the shotgun takes a look. He has time. A beautiful throw, but it's a free ball and the Browns have it. Eric Turner is on the run, the free safety, and he takes it all the way back to the 18-yard line. 4 turnovers for Houston, and yet they lead the game. Eric Turner with a 20-yard return on the interception.
Still working on that spot that they thought they could beat. They thought they could beat Selwyn Jones, number 22, hitting Duncan. They had it, but the bounce up and the safety is right there. I even believe that the safety was there. Eric Turner could double a little bit, recognizing the fact that Houston is trying to exploit Selwyn Jones. And that time it works out well for the Cleveland Browns. See, I'm convinced that that's a double team. You saw Turner coming into the picture, taking the inside break, with Selwyn Jones maintaining an outside position. Good defense call.
And the Oiler defense right back out. It was interesting yesterday, Beasley, a lot of the Oiler defensive players said one of the reasons they're playing better is because with the offense of the Oilers playing well, they get more time on the sideline to rest. But one play later, they're right back out there. First down and 10 for the Browns. 18-yard line of the Oilers. Phil Cox with a deep drop in time. And he throws it away. Will Chamberlain could have got that.
Well, that that was a smart play. The guy he wanted was Mark Carrier, and Carrier fell down at the goal line. So the fans are booing here, but Phil Cox made the right choice. The man who was open and the man he wanted fell on the ground. There's the guy he wanted right there. That's Mark Carrier. Tried to make an inside break, and he slipped to the ground right at that dirt spot that we talked about earlier, so Phil Cox wisely threw it away.
That brings up 2nd down and 10. They go to a draw play, and Bardell hits straight ahead and hits hard, ahead for a gain of 5 yards, down to the 13-yard line. Tackle made by Childress and Marshall.
If you notice, Don, they've gone away from just straight ahead attacking this defense. They've started with the play action faking, and then that was a nice draw for a nice little gain, but using more deception now, the Cleveland Browns.
Buddy Ryan signaling the defense out. We're pretty sure it's going to be a blitz with 3rd down and about 6 coming up. It is. Wilcox gets it away, and it's taken for a touchdown. Eric Metcalf, the man they said they had at Corral, gets loose.
The matchup advantage worked against Houston this time. They had a strong safety. Bubba McDowell stuck on one of the quickest guys in the National Football League, that being Eric Metcalf. He completely lost Bubba to the point that Bubba fell down.
And the point after is hit up and good by Matt Stover. So the Browns capitalize on the 4th turnover this game by the Oilers, and they get right back in it, trailing 14-10.
Driver, do you have any Bud Light in your vehicle?
Yes.
Then I am Mr. Gallywikich.
You mean Dr. Galakowitz?
Yes, I am. This is so cool.
First time in a limo, Doctor?
In a limo this small.
If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
Behind every new Mazda truck is an unsurpassed 50,000-mile, 3-year basic warranty. And behind that, who knows?
As your engine revs higher, the oil forms a hydrodynamic wedge, protecting your engine parts. But as your oil's viscosity breaks down, so can the wedge. That's why Castrol GTX has unique viscosity improvers. Castrol provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. So use Castrol, because if your viscosity breaks down, what's next? Castrol GTX. Now, get a free officially licensed NFL team football when you buy a case of Castrol GTX.
You're looking at the most powerful import pickup ever built. The new 4-liter V6 Mazda truck. What all the beautiful people are driving this year.
The Steelers, the Broncos. The league's #1 ranked defense powers first-place Pittsburgh against John Elway and the NFL's second-best passing attack. It's a battle of playoff hopefuls and a mile-high matchup. Next on NBC.
Here's Eric Metcalf right here. He comes in motion and goes to the corner. Bubba McDowell comes over to pick him up man for man. And you'll see in the corner that as Bubba McDowell tries to plant and come forward to make a play, both feet go out from underneath his body. Metcalf left alone for the touchdown.
And now the Browns are ready to kick it off as Stover is into the ball and into the wind. A high kick. And Willie Drury starts at his 5. Almost loses his footing, breaks it across the 25 and out to the 30-yard line. 25-yard kick returned by Drury. Mike Caldwell was on the stop for the Cleveland Browns. And the run and shoot comes back up because people have to be separated on the sideline.
Big game for both teams, Don. Little heat.
Yeah, little brief skirmish.
Little heat being generated out there.
Law and order restored, and The Oilers are set to go from their 25, but man, see where they position the ball. Have they had problems though with the turnovers? 7 turnovers in the game, 3 for Cleveland, and the Oilers with 4 and 7 possessions.
Well, and that's the one thing when we talked to Buddy Ryan. That's the one thing he said: if the offense doesn't turn the ball over, you know, we'll do some things.
Yeah, they'll beat anybody, he says. Crashing the pocket on Moon and pressuring him. Michael Dean Perry said the key is to rattle Moon. Here's a timing throw. Duncan has it. Take a profit type of offense. A quick out. Good for 5 yards.
See, it amazes me how quarterbacks can read plays like that. They were lined up in a double zone, and you wouldn't throw into the flat on the double zone because the cornerback is sitting there. But Warren Moon recognized that Eric Turner was inverting, moving forward, which meant that play would be there, and it was there. I mean, I know that's a lot of football talk, but it's just amazing how these quarterbacks read that stuff.
Duncan now with 4 catches for 53 yards and 1 for a touchdown. Gary Brown ran for the other Oilers score as they lead 14-10. Brown, good quick move. He does well to get any yards as the Browns stacked him. Coming up quickly to slow him down was Pepper Johnson, an outside linebacker. Then the tackle finished off by Eric Turner.
Eric Turner reads this immediately and comes flying. He'll fly right in front of you, right there, slows him down, and then Pepper falls off of his play. That's a super play by Eric Turner, actually, just a super read. He was about 12 to 13 yards beyond the line of scrimmage, so it takes a very quick read to get in the backfield that quickly.
Brown with 43 yards on 8 carries. First down run by Gary Brown as he takes it across the 45-yard line out close to the 46. Johnson and Turner on the stop.
Well, if they establish a run, if the Houston Oilers establish a running game, buddy, it gets a little hairy.
It opens up that pass.
Boy, Kevin Gilbride signaling in the next play. Man, once they establish the run, they become almost impossible to defend.
Gilbride says the key to the pass offense working is number 1, the running game working. And then pass offense, when you're going to throw, starts with pass blocking, but the running game sets it all up. Nice play fake by Moon. He looks over and dunks it off. Running hard with the ball, coming down the field is Webster Slaughter, and he has the first down for the Oilers at the 44-yard line of Cleveland. Middle linebacker Mike Johnson makes the stop. Webster Slaughter said he didn't know if he'd be booed or cheered here, but he said he loves the Cleveland fans. He said they give this team so much support. He said it was just great playing here for them.
He had a lot of great things to say about his time in Cleveland, and boy, he's off to one great year. 58 receptions, 4 touchdowns, and look at the sign. Boy, I tell you what, there's a scratch out of the Slaughter name along with some other people that have left here. They're tough here. They're very creative here.
Yeah, the bottom line, though, in all the decisions, I mean, Belichick wants to win games, and for better or for worse, the decisions he makes is what he thinks will improve his team. And he told you, I think, yesterday that he thinks he's got the nucleus of a very good football team.
He feels like this team is going to win, even with all the controversy, because they've got the talent. When you have players, you have a chance to win games. And that's why Bill Belichick is comfortable and confident in his latest, most controversial decision. It feels like it'll turn out all right. You know, the owner of the Browns, Art Modell, is in the booth next to us, and when we were showing the signs, he looked over at me and said, that was drawn by a friend of mine. So he's obviously weathering this storm okay.
Art Modell had the greatest line. They were asking him, you know, what with all the controversy swirling, what he listens to now. So he listens to classical music stations because they know they won't interrupt Beethoven to talk about Modell and Belichick. Only safe listening for him this week as the controversy continues to endure. Here's the penalty marker down. Browns might have jumped offside, but Gary Brown's not done. He's inside the 35 and down to the 30. Eric McMillan makes the tackle, but he does it 16 yards downfield.
You see it on pass plays, you see it on running plays when, you know, sometimes out of the corner of your eye as a defense, you see the flag go down and you let up a little bit. That time the defense relaxed just a little bit, and Brown took advantage. You know, he sets up his blockers so well.
Offside, 53 defense. Penalties decline. First down.
Just a little bit of a letdown. Now, at the end of this play, watch how Brown sets up his blockers. I mean, you see the offsides, and then everybody lets down slightly, and Brown able to really rumble. Look at him setting up here with Jeffries, allowing Jeffries to get in the best position to block people for us.
Brown, who didn't get much of a look at Penn State, was a great high school player. He was the Pennsylvania High School Player of the Year in Williamsport and scored 74 high school touchdowns. The whole world wanted him. Another ball on the field. Warren Moon falls on it. He averts a turnover, but he does take a loss. It'll be second down and 15.
Warren never had the handle on that ball. Never had the handle that time. Nope. See, from the beginning, he was, boy, they're lucky to get away with that one.
When they don't put it on the field, they move it. But the Browns keep hitting away at the ball. That time they didn't have to. The center for the Houston Oilers, Bruce Matthews, was called by Belichick yesterday to us the best player on their team. That's how good he thinks he is.
That's quite a statement on a team that's about half Pro Bowlers.
He said that guy is good. His brother, of course, Clay Matthews, an outside linebacker for Cleveland in his 16th year. Here's a throw. Webb Slaughter takes it. Not much of a gain. Well defended by the Browns. Eric McMillan was running with the receiver, Webster Slaughter.
You know, I figured, and I'm sure Cleveland probably thought, that they would try to feature Webster a lot today. They didn't early in the game, but they've started to call his numbers now.
Yep. You want to come in, he's over 60 catches for the year. He's on target to go for 100 receptions this year. He was a free agent. The Browns wanted to sign him, and he loved it in Cleveland, but he said he wanted to go to an offense and really put the ball in the air where he could get a lot of production. It's worked out.
Well, this offense is perfect. I mean, that's a perfect matchup. Webster Slaughter and the run and shoot.
3rd and 9. The crowd kicks in. 75,000 strong. Moon takes a look. Buys time. Makes a throw. It's caught somehow by Webster Slaughter as Moon threaded the ball between 3 defenders, then took a big hit. It's a 14-yard gain and an Oiler first down as we come to the 2-minute warning. So Webster Slaughter, in the midst of a big day, makes his biggest play. 3 catches so far for 28 yards.
This Heisman Slaughter is back home, and he's putting on a show in what used to be his house. This is a good throw by Warren Moon. I'm talking about the defense is all over the thing. Number 27, Stephon Jones, had a great opportunity to knock that ball down. He misses it, and Webster in a great crowd with a very good catch.
Almost looked like he was going to intercept.
Yeah, I mean, he had a great chance to knock it down, but the ball had too much zip on it, and really the key is the concentration of Webster Slaughter with about 4 Browns around it.
14-10, the Oilers lead. And now they're challenging 1st and 10 at the 15-yard line of the Browns. On the run is Ernest Givens. And a big defensive play. He didn't fool Eric McMillan, a former New York Jet and a former Philadelphia Eagle who was recently picked up as a free agent and started today's game.
They've been looking to get Eric McMillan very much involved in this defense. They think it's a good acquisition. He's got a lot to learn. And look at him coming from all the way on the other side of the field. He had Givens man for man on the other side. And boy, that's a lot of range for him to cover to keep that to just a minimal gain.
Minimal gain. It was just 1 yard. Those big Brown defending linemen, Michael Dean Perry, James Jones, Jerry Ball, they dig in. Here's a handoff. Running with the ball down to about the 11-yard line is running back Gary Brown, tackled by Jerry Ball and Clay Matthews. Matthews, a starting linebacker in the NFL for 16 years. We asked him what the key to playing so long was, and he said loving it. He said he loves to play. Probably going to play again next year. 16 years and counting. We asked Jack Pardee the key to being a linebacker. He played in the NFL as a standout as a 15-year veteran. He said genes have a lot to do with it. Last that long, you can't get hurt much. Big down now. 3rd down. The Oilers need 6. Browns threatening to blitz. They do. Moon stands in. He's got a man, but he's got too much lead on the ball. Gary Brown going after the ball, but could not get to it. So the Browns defense, after giving up some big plays to allow the Oilers this deep penetration, that there is a penalty marker down in the end zone.
Delay a game against the offense. There is no play. 5 yards. Repeat third down.
Oilers get a break there. Even though the penalty's against them, they get the down over.
Tell you what, that's a big break. They're resetting the game clock, but that was a big break for Houston because the run and shoot offense really has trouble when it's 10, 15, 5, 10 yards from the goal line. They need this room sometimes. So with the ball being about 16 yards out from the goal line, it gives them more room to operate.
And the ball is positioned just outside the 16. 3 wide receivers set to the right. Moon takes a look that way, now throws over the middle, and he's not close. And Del Greco will try a long field goal, fairly long. Bernie not having much of a day at Atlanta right now as the Kozar and the Cowboys are down 13-0 to the underdog Falcons. Del Greco, who's hit 10 straight field goals. He missed his first one of the year and has hit 10 straight since. Now getting set to try one. The ball will be positioned at the 24-yard line. 34-yard attempt. Montgomery, the holder. 1:17 to play in the first half. Oilers looking to build on a 4-point lead. No good. He shanked it. Browns take over the ball, trailing by 4.
You know, Don, that's one of the toughest areas of the field to do anything into. The Houston Oilers were kicking right into the dog pound, and these people are jumping up and down and waving stuff and screaming like the back of a free throw
like
goal.
Taking a free throw at Duke or something.
Boy, I tell you, that's a tough spot to kick into or pass into.
Well, Del Greco, with a string of 10 straight field goals, has that streak end. He is 10 for 12 for the year, and most impressively, 3 of 4 from 50-plus. That time he had a gusting wind behind him, but he hooked it left. So the Browns go with 1:13 to play in the half. Let's see what Phil Cox can do. What doesn't want to do is turn it over. In this turnover-filled game, there have been 7 turnovers so far. Ardell runs it, and a penalty marker comes in. Browns have turned it over 3 times, the Oilers 4.
The owner of this team, Art Modell, is signaling face mask. We'll see whether or not he's right on this call. Looked like they might have tried to stiff arm Vardell right in the face.
And you have to wonder if they won't go to the deep throw before long, because Bill Cox had some success. He missed a wide open Michael Jackson earlier. Michael Jackson against Steve Jackson was the overmatch. Michael Jackson with more size and more speed than Steve Jackson. Here's Ron Blum, the referee.
15-yard face mask. No number reported against the defense. 15 yards, first down.
Well, the owner was right. Let's see if we can find it here. Touchdown, Tommy. Moving out to the right, Lamar Latham, number 57.
Tommy's got the face mask.
Well, Lamar had it first, so that Tommy figured that gave him the right to grab onto Lamar's.
And all of a sudden, Browns have good field position, but not much time. Just 67 ticks left in the first half. Clarence Williams, a blocker, comes in. Extra tight end. Bill Cox with a 3 wide receiver set. 7-step drop, takes a look, long ball, and indeed he's going for Jackson again, who is screened away from the ball. And now the back judge throws a penalty marker in. The official right on top did not throw it. They might pick it up.
Well, they need to pick that one up, in my mind. Maybe the replay will prove me wrong, but Steve Jackson simply had perfect position on the wide receiver.
They picked the penalty up.
Incomplete, intended for Michael Jackson.
Well, somebody needs to explain this.
There is no foul in the play. The ball was ruled uncatchable.
I think that's a super call. Steve Jackson's in perfect position, turns into the wide receiver, looks back for the football. They draw it up like that in the textbook of how to cover man for man. You have the right to take a position as a defense.
And the Michael Jackson-Steve Jackson matchup we were looking for
continues.
Howard, I told you so, Cosell. Where is he now? Just had his 75th birthday not long ago.
Did he?
Yep. Second down and 10. Philcott. Oh, man. Stick that was. Michael Barrow. This is the young man that Buddy Ryan thinks is going to be a world beater. He says he'd be the best guy coming out of the draft.
My grandmother in Texas could have made that hit, though. I blame Phil Cox for that.
You got one tough grandma.
I got a tough grandma. You don't throw this. She watches every football game on TV. You don't throw this ball. I mean, the guy's right there. You know he's going to get knocked out. It's a dangerous throw. The ball bounces up in the air. It could have been intercepted. Sometimes it's best to throw the ball into the ground at the guy's feet. You get a player hurt with a ball like that.
Still 56 seconds to play in the first half. Browns down 14-10.
Reverse.
Nice fake. And a screen is set up, but the throw is low. That was good defense and good offense. Beautifully conceived play. The Oilers.
That's a shame. You know that Metcalf is going to command a little respect, so when you fake the ball to him, everything was set up over there, and Phil Cox hits the guy in the ankle.
We could still see some fireworks, Beasley, before the end of the half. 52 seconds, and the Oilers are going to get it back on a punt by Brian Hansen. If Warren Moon can make it happen fast with a run and shoot. Low snap. End over end kick. Makes a big Cleveland bounce. Willie Drury picks it up, and he's immediately stuck. Coming down to make the play was Stacy Hairston. A 46-yard punt by Hansen and no return. Big special teams play for the Browns. The Goodyear blimp Spirit has made the short trip up from Akron, Ohio, about 40 miles south of Cleveland, to give us the aerial views of today's game. Cleveland Stadium, what a great ball yard. The site of so many big games in late November, and another one today.
They love their Bernie here.
Almost loved more since he left. He was getting booed for a while here. He had some great years, though.
Yeah.
5 straight playoff appearances, the Browns had, his first 5 years in the league. Browns felt he wasn't mobile enough to run their offense, so they made the decision. Here is a give to Brown straight ahead with 38 seconds to play. Mike Johnson makes the stop. Oilers might be a little gun shy here, Beasley, to start firing the ball late deep in their own end after all those turnovers, 4 in the first half.
You know, you're probably right on the money there, what they're thinking. They are probably content to, and they are content, as we see Kevin Gilbride and the head coach Jack Pardee head to the locker room to figure out the situation.
They're going to take their winnings, limited as they are, a 4-point lead. Belichick leads his Browns into the locker room. Courageously, no hard hat. I guess he figures
nobody's going to throw anything at him.
And we're going to be heading to New York. Jim Lampley and Mike Ditka are standing by at NFL Live in New York with a complete update on all the happenings on this big day in the NFL. The Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report is next.